Hey, Internet Word. It's JG here in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm joined by Sir Neal McGreefy, from Oxford, Mississippi. That is in northern Mississippi, not too far from Memphis. And we're also joined by Gabriel. You may know him as Gabe, the Armand, from PowerMizzou.com. He lives in Columbia, Missouri, which is somewhere south of Joplin, I believe. It's almost in Arkansas, and that's as much as I know about Missouri.
That is 100% not even close to correct.
All right, it's between.
You've been here.
It's between.
It's between Los Angeles and Charlotte.
Yeah.
No, actually, it is. It's actually near the road between St. Louis and Kansas City. Is that right?
Yes, it is directly halfway. I mean, you were literally here like 2.5 years ago.
I know. I know I was in St. Louis and then I went to Columbia, but I didn't go to Kansas City, so I don't know where that's at.
It's further. If you had kept going, you would have ended up in Kansas City.
I wish I'd gone to Rolla because I really miss Rolla.
Do you really wish you'd gone to Rolla?
I had a lot of great memories in Rolla because we would stop there on our way to Kentucky. That was like a nice little midway point. That or Eureka, Missouri.
Yeah, you're the second person who's ever said that they wish they had gone to Rolla.
That's where a lot of smart people go.
Who was the first?
I think the mayor enjoys Rolla. I don't know who it is, but
the mayor of Rolla,
or the tourism chief. Yeah.
You know, I saw a Twitter rant the other day about the mayor of Oxford about how she curls her hair too much, and I call bullshit on that.
Yeah, they accused her of having gone to a salon despite the fact that the salons are closed. And Robin is one of those people. I've known Robin for a long time. If you're going to come after Robin, you best hit. You best make, the shot needs to hit because she's not going to be timid about coming back. And that shot misfired, and it was ugly.
Well, don't be a dipshit. That's my suggestion.
That's good life advice in general. I find
what's that saying? If you're going to come at the king, you best hit.
Not miss.
Best not miss. Yeah.
I believe that was from The Wire.
Is that
I've
true?
Never seen that show.
I haven't either.
Yeah, it is. I watched the first season and a half, and I gave up. And people are mad at me for not liking it more, but it was real slow.
That was kind of how I was with Ozark, and people have come after me a little bit with why didn't you stay with it? I'm like, it was fine, but I never could make myself keep going back.
Same. I quit that after, I don't even think I got to the end of season 1.
Damn. Sometimes I think shows like that are like alternative music at times where people say they like it even though they really don't. They're like, oh yeah, that's really cool music. I'm going to go watch that band. And deep down they hate that band.
Yeah, that's like Pearl Jam for me. I mean, I got nothing wrong with Pearl Jam. I'm not mad. They're fine musicians and they've done a great job. Yeah. But I just can't get into their music at all. I just can't.
And I want to because Eddie Vedder's a big Cubs fan and sings like one of the most famous Cubs songs around. Before they'd won the World Series, you'd hear it all the time. But I just don't like Pearl Jam that much.
Yeah, I feel that way about Springsteen too. I know as a sports writer, that makes me a bad person.
I agree. He's fine.
I'm in the same boat. On a scale of 1 to 10, Springsteen's like a 5. He's fine. Right. I mean, it's whatever. But the people who are just religious about it, I don't. Some of the sports writers who are religious about it, I think, are the same ones who would be religious about anything that other sports writers told them to be religious about.
There is not a musical act that I consider good enough that I would pay to see them in concert like 5 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I don't love music. Like I'm whatever.
I have seen a particular group probably 7 or 8, 9, 10
Steel
times.
Panther?
No, well, I've seen them 5 times, but
okay.
I've seen Rush more than that. I love Rush.
I mean, I know people that have seen Springsteen, no exaggeration, more than 50 times. And I don't get it. It's the same song, right?
It's too much. It's too much for me, yeah. All right, so we are now on Rebel Grove and Power Mizzou and the Auburn Sports. So
yeah, I'm tweeting out a deal if you guys want to.
A deal.
I believe I read somewhere, Jay, those were the 3 most popular sites on the internet last week.
Oh, that would be awesome. If
I don't know where it was. I can't cite my sources, but I read that. Yeah.
I told well, Neal was on with me just a minute before I got you on, but I had to back out of my damn show last night. I was breathing. I couldn't get a satisfying deep breath, Gabriel. It was weird.
Did
I
that
felt short of
kind of
breath.
freak you out?
Hell yes, it did. But, I just went downstairs and chilled out a little bit and got into some relaxation exercises, and I think I regained myself. I feel fine today. So
What freaked you out?
Sounds like it was a stressful show between not being able to breathe and nobody actually being able to see it.
we were having a part of that is true. Yeah, I forgot to turn it on the first 15 minutes. But look at Avery from the Ole Miss site says, "Look at Gabe with his fancy backdrop." I know, we're so proud of him, Avery.
I appreciate that was noticed.
We're still working on lighting, but
You know what I actually should have done is I should have just like gotten a big white sheet of paper and like drawn some shit on it and put it up behind me for a week as kind of a bridge from the old stuff to the new stuff.
PowerMizzou.com. Oh, I got to look up one more thing.
But here's what I want to know: like when you guys are looking at me, this appears right? Like it.
Yeah.
The view.
Yeah,
right?
it no longer says you awesome.
Right, because when I look at myself on my computer, everything's backwards and it's really weird.
Hey, Neal, did you have a decent year in 1996?
Yeah, I think so.
Less rough than most.
You were.
It was an interesting year in 1996.
Coming out of the valley, there.
Well, you had met Laura, and so you and Laura were kind of getting things going for real, right?
Yeah. I'd met Laura. We got engaged in 96, and I had a really fascinating journalism experience in 1996 because I was working at this weekly paper called the Hoover Outlook in Hoover, Alabama, and
Really?
I was doing everything, man. And then the publisher got cancer, and she just kind of had to disappear. And it was like, here, do it. And I'm suddenly I'm really running a newspaper, which, I spent nights in the place. I literally it was serious work. I learned a ton of business stuff in 6 months' time.
It's incredible. Maybe that's why you're the guy you are now. You're very financially attuned, you know?
It was certainly a wake up call. No joke. All of a sudden I'm having meetings with like the shareholders and stuff. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know what the hell I was saying. I didn't know anything about ad rates. I didn't know jack. And I didn't know really much about laying out the paper that much. And luckily there were 2 or 3 people that were there that were pretty good. Otherwise it would have been a total cluster, but it was interesting. It was no doubt about that.
A disaster.
How's the Hoover Outlook doing these days?
I don't think it's there anymore. I think it's
I thought maybe there'd been some furloughs there.
Yeah, I would think they furloughed. Had they made it to this point, that would have been the end. Man, you see these local small time papers in this deal, they're just folding shop.
It's not even
just brutal.
It's everybody. It's the major papers, you know.
Yeah.
Number one song in 1996. It was a bad one. It was a novelty song.
The Bryan Adams song from the Robin Hood movie.
That was a couple years before that.
Okay.
This was a novelty song that people did a dumb, I almost said a bad word, really bad dance to it.
Macarena.
Yes.
Oh wow.
See, they played those. I would have been a junior in college in '96, I think. And yeah, I remember that at bars and such.
Yeah, I bet you brought the girls home doing that Macarena, big boy.
Yeah. That was always the end of my night at the bars was always successful.
I bet it was.
Good stuff, man. Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness released in January of 1996. One of my all-time favorite records. Y'all know that one, right?
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness? That's
no clue.
Smashing Pumpkins, man.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my God, it's so good, man.
I'm not sure I've ever heard them. I'm sure I have, but I didn't know it was them.
Yeah. Like, if some of their songs played, you would know.
Okay.
You'd be like, oh, yeah, I've heard that.
What are some of their songs?
I don't know that I can name them, but I would know. Jay's done. Jay's having trouble
That'll
breathing.
do it for this edition of Greatest Pod in the South. We'd like to thank all the people at Automation and Control Systems, LLC. We will probably not be back next week. Until then,
Take care.
take care.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that you actually
can't
did that.
believe I wasted this backdrop on a 12-minute show. This is bullshit.
Mm. Man, and for those of you who are also into rock and roll like I was, unlike these two, Lane Staley died in '96. Golly.
Was that the guy from Kiss?
No, let's see. No, he didn't. His girlfriend died in '96. Excuse me.
Know who that is? So
Wait, what? You don't know who Lane
no,
Staley
I
is?
legit don't know who that is.
He's the lead singer of Alice in Chains, which is like.
Oh, I was gonna say he was from Kiss.
Please tell me.
I would
Tell me
I would
the name-
assume the lead singer of Alice in Chains was named Alice.
Name one song, please, by Alice in Chains. One song. Come on. Please, guys. Please.
I'm gonna let Neal go first.
Hang
on.
I'm gonna slash your throat. I don't know. Beats me.
Hang on.
Headbangers balls.
No.
How about
that
Man in the Box? I googled.
We will
that
take Man in the Box. That is an acceptable answer.
That's great.
Also, Them
Great
Bones, Wood.
one. Cool. I don't
Rooster.
really like any of those probably, but cool.
Angry
Rooster.
Chair. So many good songs.
Choke. How's Choke?
It's good.
That was the song I was thinking about. Instead of throat slashing, it was
Corn. I'm
throat
with you.
clutching. Yeah.
Corn from the chat, I think, is just blown away that you guys don't know this stuff. And apparently, Leif says, and Leif, of course, we know he's credible because he's one of the Ole Miss folks. Says Billy Corgan, who's the lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins, is a big.
I actually
Cubs
did
fan.
know that.
He's a big Cubs fan.
Yeah, it seems like I did know that Corrigan was. I just didn't know that that's who he was.
Or that he had a name. Yeah.
Yeah.
He tweeted a picture maybe 6 months ago, just randomly. He says, "Hey guys, check me out. I'm in Muscle Shoals." I was like, "Word!" I love it when badass people like him are in my state. Doesn't happen all that often.
That's North Alabama, right?
It is indeed. Yeah.
That area is booming, man.
That's
or it was
where Cliff Ellis.
pre-COVID.
That's where Cliff Ellis recorded "People Get Ready." Listen, there's a little beach music album we're putting together. You guys are welcome to buy it.
Did I ever tell you about when I had to do a story on his cookbook? It's awful.
Cliff Ellis.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think I've told that story. It's the worst. John Cameron's like, we didn't do a story. Cliff Ellis gonna be down there for a book signing.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh God. And he's like, I need you to call him and do a story about his cookbook. And I was like, man, I'll do anything. I mean, I'll cover 30 Bay Bears games. Just anything, not that. He's like, no, we gotta do it. We gotta do it. Cliff was giving me different songs, different recipes that would put her in the mood and things like that. It was a nauseating conversation. It took me years to recover.
It's sad. At least you didn't have to cover the winning edge.
No, I did. I did have to write a story on the stupid winning edge. Yes.
Did you write a story about the losing edge when he started losing all the time?
I wanted to.
We kept busting his balls about that, didn't we?
Yeah. That's when Cliff put his hand on the back of my neck and Bud Walton and was like squeezing pretty tight. And I was like, this is awkward.
I'm uncomfortable.
This is not good.
Oh.
He'd heard me on a radio show in Clemson, South Carolina. His daughter lived there. And he had heard about me on a radio show in Clemson where I was like, yeah, it's not going to end well. And he did not like it.
Listen. I got on with Bo Mattingly about a year ago in Arkansas and was just kind of talking random shit about Gus. I mean, nothing real bad, but just the usual shit. And he texted me in the middle of the interview. Gus did.
Really? What'd he say?
I'm listening. He actually, man, Gus he's actually turned a corner, man.
She just text back and say probably shouldn't be.
Yeah, and he still memes me about it because I said that he was Houdini. I don't know how the hell he got out of that snag he was in a couple years ago, and he'll still text me and say, "You still think I'm Houdini?" Like, hell yeah, I do.
Yeah, no doubt. Was that "Hurry Up, No Huddle" or whatever mural in his house? Was that for real, or did Auburn do graphics to make it look like it was there during the draft?
Oh no, that's real. I mean, I'm sure Auburn made the graphics,
joke.
But no, that's been there. Yeah. I've been to his house 3 or 4 times, and it's always there. That's in his game room. He's got like Papa Shot. He's got table tennis, and he's got I think he had a Galaga game there.
Oh yeah.
I haven't played the video game with him before, but
can we talk about? Maybe we should do it on the show. But our favorite home moments from the NFL draft.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind
I
talking
feel
about
like
the
that's
draft.
good for the show.
I don't know
I
enough
enjoyed the
about
draft.
it. You're gonna have to bring a lot because I didn't watch enough of it.
Okay.
God,
I
you know,
actually watched.
Auburn had people
I watched
drafted.
more of it than I've watched in years.
Ole Miss didn't have anybody drafted, and I still watched a lot of it.
Well,
watched-
technically, Ole Miss had Van Jefferson drafted.
Yeah, I guess so they
Did
had
he
a
start
half a
at-
player.
That's a
Yeah,
halfie.
yeah, he played 2 years.
Uh-huh.
Ole Miss had Van Jefferson, DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, Dawson Knox,
And
Greg
Laquan.
Little, all in the same offense, and didn't get bowl eligible.
Beat Bammer though, didn't they?
No, that was because last time they beat Alabama was 15. I don't think Van was there yet.
Oh,
He
okay.
wasn't. Van signed in the 16 class with Shea Patterson and those cats.
That's still quite a collection.
Oh, Shea Patterson didn't get drafted.
No, he didn't.
No.
He's just not very good, man. I don't know.
I bet his dad, man. I bet his dad has so many burner accounts out there right now, just blowing people up.
Jordan Ta'amu is in the NFL though.
Yeah, Jordan's a good dude, man. One of the
That's what he
one of the nicest people I've ever covered. I mean,
Hey.
so incredibly polite.
I wanted to give a shout out to Jonathan Ingram, who just dropped a super chat here. We're not even on doing the show yet officially, but dropped one. Said, how much for a drinking game, GPITS? Gabe, are you in position to drink if we had to?
I am currently not right
Damn.
now.
I mean,
We could schedule one down the road. That's
Yeah.
doable.
a GPITS drinking game. McCrady, you're
Yeah,
drinking,
for
aren't
sure.
you?
I'm having a beer.
Or honestly, I mean, we could design one for these people. Every time Neal names a different spice that I'm going to get out of my kitchen or something, they can go drink. You know.
I'll tell you what,
Is that
Jonathan,
Old Soul
I'm
from
happy to
Cathead?
drink some old soul from our
Yeah.
friends at Cathead. This one's for you, Jonathan, and I appreciate you jumping in, bro.
I had
I don't
some
know-
honeysuckle vodka from Cathead not long ago.
It's good,
That's good
isn't it?
stuff.
Not bad. Yeah.
That honeysuckle lemonade, no joke, is a real deal.
It is the real deal. I mean, it has
About
widespread appeal.
Three quarters honeysuckle vodka, 1/4 lemonade.
And that's a winner
Real
right
good.
there.
That's a winner. I found this beer. It's an Abita beer. I just tried it because I'll every once in a while give an Abita beer a try because I'm a Louisiana boy and I'll just support Louisiana stuff sometimes. And it's called Hop On. It's kind of like a hazy ale. It's really good.
I'm surprised you like beer. I feel like it's bad for your physique. I'm not
It
saying
is bad.
Yeah.
Well, but it is bad for my physique. But I do really like it. It's like a guilty pleasure.
No, it makes you be in better shape.
Oh, is that right? Well, there you go. I mean, look at
Dr.
you.
Gabe.
I mean, there you go.
Yes, that's pretty much all I drink. I'm in better shape than I've ever been in. It's proven scientific fact.
You look great, Gabe. You look really, really sexy.
I try.
You got your Jordan shirt on. You ready for the big?
No, it's actually not. It's an
This is-
Alex Gordon shirt.
Gordon.
Oh, Gordon.
Is this-
Gordon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now that I look at it,
Let me see.
I just saw the Jumpman.
Jumpman.
I can't turn the flashlight off on my phone now. It's really kind of upsetting.
I'm not surprised. That's a very old man thing to say. Hey,
have
things
to
we
tell-
actually
tell
got to talk
Siri
about.
to-
Well, I
turn it
know
off.
how to do it. I just can't make it actually happen right now.
These are things I have on the list. We didn't have a chance, Neal, last week to talk about A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Well, we talked about it a little bit, but I had some things I wanted to go in a little deeper into on that one because we were doing a speed round at the end. Also, my wife found some family transparencies, pictures taken by her dad back in the 70s that she had never seen before. And so we were projecting them on the wall because she still had the projector. And I mean, it was just like this pure enjoyment of her seeing pictures of her sister and her brother and her and her mom and her dad that she had never seen before. It was one of those very rare glimpses when you can watch someone's face and they're just like so serene and happy. It was a real gift to be able to see that.
Oh, that's cool.
We also talked about coming together and trying to hash out a all-time starting lineup in the all-time NBA team.
So I have an idea for today.
Okay.
We have sort of like a lottery. We can go in. We have a draft, and we pick a starting five. You can do it however you want, but it's got to be a true point guard, true shooting guard, true center, true power forward, true small forward. And like if you pick first in the first round, you pick last in the second round. Obviously, it's a little, what do they call it, a snake?
Serpentine draft.
There you go.
Can we
I
just talk
feel
about
like
who we
as
think are our favorite
NBA
players?
fans, you guys will
God
have a big
dang,
advantage.
Jay, I thought it was a fun idea. Never mind. I'll just go.
I didn't
Walk in
understand
the
what the hell
corner.
you're talking about.
No, just
dude.
don't worry about it. Don't worry about
You
it. Don't worry
dra-
about it.
We all three would draft a starting all-time
We would all
starting five. I didn't
draft an
feel like
all-time
that was a
starting five.
difficult concept.
Yeah, but
Like-
I don't want to give up the guys that I like best. Why would I have to?
Well, I guess because that would make the point of the draft be kind of fun.
Well,
But okay,
yeah,
you can have
it would kind of
your
we
all-time
just
team.
Gave you your 5, and then we had to pick the leftovers.
Yeah, because
I don't enjoy. That's
your
that's
all-time
like
team would be a
recruiting
lot like
against
mine,
Alabama
probably.
and LSU. Like they get all the best players, and everybody else just got to take what's left.
But I'm not sure.
It's like recruiting against Alabama. You have 5 guys that you want, and all of a sudden they're gone.
Yeah.
And
I tell you what, Jay, we'll give you the top. We'll give you the top 30, and we'll take what's left, and it's like the SEC.
A Dodge dealership suddenly was missing cars. It's the weirdest thing.
Hey, who was that dude that said Missouri? This breaks the string of recruiting or signing SEC players, and then there was a kid from Mizzou.
It was somebody that covers the Browns. Yeah.
He didn't know Mizzou was in the league.
I don't know. He said they take Jordan Elliott, from Missouri, which breaks their streak of taking SEC players.
It was like their 4th pick, Neal, and so they had taken their first 3 guys from the SEC. The 4th guy was from Missouri, and their beat writer goes, "Well, there goes the SEC streak. He's from Missouri." And everybody's like,
brah.
And
you know
also,
what is fascinating is LSU loses 14 dudes to the draft. Most of their coaching staff. Ed's getting divorced. Got to be a little different feel down there, huh?
Yeah, no Joe Brady.
I mean, I know they still have talent and stuff.
That'd be good.
But, dude, 14 draft picks, both coordinators. It's a lot.
Yeah, they're going to have some trouble, I think. Just my opinion.
Yeah.
That was really funny, though. And then the people, like the Twitter, I felt like the Twitter mob was then trying to jump on and say, yeah, exactly, Missouri ain't even barely in the SEC. And the truth of the matter is that Missouri has been good in football. Like, I know they were shitty last year or whatever, but
it's been a minute, but yeah.
But yeah, Pinkel, dude, he was killing it over there for a while. I don't know why people forget all that. People in the West forget all that shit. Like they forget that Missouri won titles.
They got a starting quarterback in the league.
There's a little bit of a good old boy thing in the SEC where if you haven't been there for 87 years, you don't really count.
That's true.
So,
Although A&M doesn't get it as bad, Lee, I don't think as Missouri.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know.
Texas. It's probably Texas against Missouri.
Hi, I'm from Missouri. My name's Gabe.
Missouri's kind of far away.
It's just so far east.
All right.
Well, I mean,
that's and south.
They're so far
Missouri,
east.
they would have been so much better putting Missouri in the West, where they would have been able to kind of have a little bit of.
Not for Missouri.
But I mean, you needed to move Alabama or Auburn to the east.
Yeah, they didn't want that.
Balance it out.
Auburn did. Avery mentions that Gabe's Twitter mentions are a mess. I wonder if it's over that Clay Travis stuff. Or...
We'll talk about that.
A couple of things I want to talk about. Neal versus Ole Miss. Neal's went on a Twitter rant this week about how basically he'll never have any relationship with Ole Miss on a personal level.
Yeah, it's not a rant. It's not a rant. Yes, we'll go through it. It's one of those deals where
talk about it on the show. Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, it's
weird.
It's a simple thing, man. It's MSU Twitter. Mississippi State Twitter is the weirdest group of people on the face of the planet. They're awful.
I got to put Neal on Twitter notifications. I don't want to miss things like this.
I don't want to miss a thing.
So yesterday, what happened was Leo Lewis, who was at the heart of the whole NCAA thing, that occupied 6 years on this beat, right? I mean, Leo Lewis was if you wrote a book, God forbid, about the Ole Miss NCAA investigation, the 2 people that you would consider putting on the front page of it for the photo would be Leo Lewis and Hugh Freeze. Those are the 2 names. And Lewis.
Neal McCready.
Oh God, no. Leo Lewis didn't get drafted, and I kind of made a tweet that said, so that's sort of the final chapter of this. We can write the epilogue now, basically. That who the winners and losers of this. I mean, Dan Mullen wins, he gets the hell out of Mississippi State, goes to Florida, he's making $1 gazillion. Hugh Freeze is stuck at Liberty, and Leo Lewis is undrafted. I mean,
they got mad at you.
Oh, they got so mad. You're obsessed with you're toting the water for Ole Miss, and I'm like, dude. I mean, it's what I've always said. If I were such a massive Ole Miss fan, from a business sense, I'd be better off admitting it. I'd be better off wearing the gear. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, better off like it makes no sense at all to say to be an Ole Miss fan in this job and not claim it.
Yeah.
Don't
And
you
I'm
think-
just not. You know, I'm just not. I mean, I went to Ole Miss for undergrad. It's not Ole Miss's fault, but I didn't have a very good experience. I don't have a lot of great fond memories of college. We've talked about it because we've gone through these years.
Yeah,
I didn't make a lot.
Ones.
I didn't make a lot of friends. I had a really difficult time. I did. And so there's no, I don't look back on it with some sentimentality. And in the 12 years that I've been here, after dealing with Houston Nutt, who freaking hated me, and Hugh Freeze, who hated me, it's been, God almighty, it's been pretty acrimonious most of the time. I've had prominent Ole Miss people look me in the eye. To their credit, they didn't do it behind my back. They did it to my face. They said, "We do not claim you." I'm like, good. It's all good.
Okay,
I mean,
here we go.
it's perfectly fine.
I know you're upset.
But that's what's weird.
So,
I know you're upset. I'm sorry.
feel like
No, but I'm not upset about it. It's all good.
Have we ever ranked all the SEC coaches' wives, how hot they are? Can we do that?
I don't know that I've seen all of them.
I wouldn't know.
We probably need to do that for our next show because you guys probably aren't
So-
aware like I am.
Okay.
I had to look up Lindsay Drinkwitz because I didn't remember her as well. Maybe
Oh.
Is
Uh,
Mike Leach
couldn't say.
married?
Yes, he is actually.
Is he?
Lindsay
Kiffin the
Drinkwitz
only-
looks tally. She looks tall. Well,
Is-
we could just throw her in there. We could throw his ex-wife in there, Neal, in that case, right?
Yeah, Kiffin's not married. Orgeron's not going to be married here soon.
She's pretty hot though. I mean,
Kelly?
yeah, she's hot.
I feel like that's a dangerous territory to head
Yeah.
down, frankly.
Okay, then we won't do it. But Megan Mullen's really hot. I'm not
I mean-
saying that she's cool. I'm just saying she's hot. He did really well for himself because I think he's goofy looking, and this coming from a guy with frosted tips. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One man's opinion. All right, I
Yeah.
guess we won't talk about that. If you guys want to shit on
Let's,
me,
It sounds like we got a lot of stuff to talk about, though.
Yeah, I think we're
Maybe
good.
we should talk about it.
Maybe we should actually do it.
Yeah, instead of talking about it.
okay, then
Yeah.
let's. You know what, Gabe?
Jay
We'll do it.
Jay tries to sneak that stuff in to get me in trouble. I don't appreciate that at all. It hurts my
I don't
feelings.
do that. I'm good, bro. Whenever you let this bad boy rip, I'm good to go, Neelage.
All right, here we go. 3, 2. Welcome into episode number 96 of Greatest Pod in the South, sponsored by Automation and Control Systems LLC. I'm Neal McCready. JG Tate is with me, as well as is Gabe DeArmond with his fancy new sophisticated backdrop. We'll talk about Gabe's backdrop and other things from the sports world here in a moment. But first, let me tell you about Automation and Control Systems LLC. It's owned and operated by Clay McNutt in Baldwin, Mississippi. Established in 2013, ACS is a complete electrical control system solution provider and a Rockwell Automation recognized system integrator. ACS has a full-time, dedicated emergency service and troubleshooting staff and a UL 508A panel shop. They can custom tailor software packages, custom design electrical control panel solutions, and much more. ACS is a full-service AutoCAD services provider and a full-service fiber optic cabling solution provider. If you're in need of custom HMI and SCADA solutions or large horsepower VFD specialist, ACS has you covered. They can install and service Rockwell Automation, Allen Bradley, Siemens, ABB, Square D, and many other manufacturers. For more information or to get in touch with ACS, go to acsllcms.com. Again, that's acsllcms.com or call 662-601-4381. I'm coming to you from the Clark Ford Studios. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is that number. Call it. Ask for my friend Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He's Jay's friends too. You call Corey. You get a quote. It's going to happen within 15 minutes in business hours. It's going to be right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. You can use it as a reference point going forward at another dealership. It's all good. It's fine. Or it's going to pique your interest, and you're going to start thinking about that Ford. Clark Ford will get it to you. Even if you don't live anywhere near Amory, they can make it happen. Again, Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy, and he wants to make sure that you don't get swindled in your automotive
Motion.
purchase. 662-257-1900. Jay, Gabriel, how are you all?
I'm great. Gabriel's got his backdrop today, and he looks like an absolute beast. Looks as attractive as ever. He's been keeping fit and trim, not drinking a lot of beer, or maybe drinking a lot of beer. It just depends. Gabe, word.
A little bit. How you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah, we missed you last week, but that's my fault, bro.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to get it on the the scheduled time, and we had some weather, and I know out in Columbia everything's great. It's like 150 degrees out there and sunny.
Yeah, it's 75 sunny every day. It's I don't know if you know. I know you're very familiar with Missouri geography. We're right next to San Diego, so it's 75 and sunny every day.
I told Gabe earlier I thought Columbia was near Joplin, and he was very quick to tell me that is not actually the case.
Same state. I mean, how big can Missouri be?
Thank you, Neal. Thank you. Missouri's Missouri. It's in the east.
Yeah.
So obviously they're in the East Coast, and
yeah, right by like Connecticut. That's where we're at.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's close. I was trying to look on here and see what the weather's like in Columbia today, like for real. It's 70 degrees and sunny.
Real nice. Yeah, it actually is pretty close to that. Yeah.
You consider that 70 is nice? It's chilly.
Yeah. No, 70's good. 70's about perfect.
It's 70 in Oxford. It's 75 in Slumgummery. So, word.
Slumgummery.
Oh, yeah. We have lots to discuss today on the show, guys. But first of all, I just want to say it's wonderful spending some time on this afternoon with both of you gentlemen. Two true professionals. And two guys who use Twitter like the deft magicians that you all are. I can't use Twitter the way you guys do.
Good segue from professionals to the shit show of our Twitter accounts.
I feel like Gabe's is even worse than Neal, and that's weird because you're not as you don't cause as much controversy as Neal in real life, but I think on Twitter you do.
I like to engage.
Wait a minute, hold on, time out. What controversy do I cause in real life? I do nothing.
You get on your Oxford Exxon podcast and you do nothing but talk smack about people, and you get people angry.
That's not.
You
true.
called Lane Kiffin a bozo. You said that
not.
Houston Nutt was the best coach Ole Miss ever had. I mean, these are crazy takes, dude.
Does he talk crap about us on that podcast?
Hell yeah, he does. I don't even want to say what he said about you, Gabriel.
I might have to start listening.
It starts. I've been known to jump on there, bro. I like getting on there.
I've been on there a couple times.
I slid him a super chat 2 or 3 times because I like them. Him and Chance do an awesome job.
Yeah, agreed.
His co-host Chance. Have you met him?
Twitter's a bad place, though. Yeah, I don't know if I've met him actually. I've spoken with him.
Yeah, he has weird
Holy
eyes.
hell! Did you guys see this? I'm on Gabe's Twitter feed now, just looking at it. This is nuts. If you were on the Tulane beat today, this was a rough day. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, Gabe did. I know.
Apparently, the kid transferred from Georgia. He started his career at Georgia. Apparently, I found out. Anthony Dasher texted me about that.
All right, guys.
T-Shawn Hightower. I don't know him.
Yeah, I don't either.
How about the people who are listening to the show don't know what's going on, Neal?
T-Shawn, yeah, they do now. T-Shawn Hightower, Tulane's leading scorer. This is according to Rob Dolster. Was arrested last night, charged with murder, aggravated assault, battery, possession of a firearm during a felony stemming from an April 8th homicide in Georgia. Hightower declared for the draft on April the 18th.
Don't love his chances of being picked.
I don't like his chances in the lottery at this point. No.
Him being free. Yeah.
Wow.
He's going to be hell in the penal system, though. He's going to ball up against some of those guys, and he's going to win some cigarettes or whatever.
Yeah, well, as we were talking about, though, like when you were incredulous about my Twitter feed, I wasn't sure where you were going because there's been some shit there the last couple of days.
Yeah, no, I feel like I should be inoffensive on Twitter, and I am, but you guys throw that out the window. You're just like, anyway, Gabriel.
Well, no, I'm not offensive. I just like to point out when other people are stupid. So I retweet them with comments.
All right, so let's get into this a little bit. Gabriel, for reasons that we can get into, I would love for you to do this.
Welcome to being a grown-up.
You got the
that guy I actually know. That was a real.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Clay Travis fanboys are none too happy with you right now, Gabriel. Can you kind of provide us a snapshot on what happened there?
Ooh.
Yeah, well, so Clay tweeted that something, I don't even know what happened. Oklahoma opened or something. And he tweeted that the Big 12 and the SEC are playing football this fall. I would be shocked if it didn't happen. And that's fine. That's a fair opinion to have. And I just retweeted it with the comment that I said, not without the other power conferences. I said, they're either all going to do it or they're all not going to. I don't think it's going to be a split decision.
I don't know.
And that was
I don't know that I agree with you there, but go ahead.
Well, but it's fair to disagree with me. But
yeah, sure.
I made two mistakes in this. Number one, I retweeted Clay Travis.
Mistake one.
Number one.
It honestly did not occur to me at that point what I was inviting into my timeline.
And number two.
Number two, it just became this, I honestly did not retweet that at all thinking about California or the Pac-12 or anything like that. It honestly became, am I allowed to curse on this podcast?
Yes.
Because it basically became just a parade of people from the southeastern quadrant of the country telling me that those pussies in California were not going to keep the SEC from playing football.
But that's
fall.
True, man. I don't care about California, Gabriel.
Right, but that was not at all. I
know what you're getting at. It became the political
I
football.
I did not say it because of the Pac-12 at all.
Right.
I just said I think I have a hard time. I think they're all going to agree on something, and that may be. Look, if it's 4-1 and the Pac-12 is holding out, I think the Pac-12 will say, "Okay, we'll figure out a way to make something work." Is my point. Just that I think they're all going to agree to the same thing. I don't think you're going to see.
That's the goal. You're right. That is what they're hoping to do. They're hoping that sometime between now and June the 15th, they can all get together and go, "Hey, we're all in." But I think if the Pac-12 were to go, "Hey, we just can't do this." I do think
the other four will probably go ahead.
Well, I think at some point the other four just go. Here's what's interesting about this.
That is a fair point. And if that had been the point, great. The counterpoint became, very much that I was a socialist and a horrible human being and all of these things. So,
That's why you're running your own business right.
Well, and I did at one point reply to someone who said, that it was going to disappoint me greatly when the SEC played football. I said, yes, as someone whose career may very well ride on the SEC playing football, I really hope they don't.
That is the most bizarre take that you get from people.
Insane.
And when they come at you, when you have an intelligent conversation about it, right? About just the topic, because I do a podcast called Mind on My Money. It's presented by Pinnacle Trust, who's one of the sponsors of this show. And we had Dr. Alan Jones, who is the chief of emergency medicine at the University of Mississippi Medical Center in Jackson. He came on. He knows medicine, okay? Now, he's not an epidemiologist, but he understands all these terms and stuff better than the three of us combined.
More than, say, us, right.
And so I asked him a question. I said, so, what do you think about, can they play football in the fall or whatever? And he said, yes. And he said, but he was talking about, kids going back to campuses and kids moving into dorms like your daughter's going to do, Jay, I presume, right? She's going to live in a dorm.
Oh, yeah. Hope so.
Okay. So he was talking about a kid like Maddie going to South Alabama. And he said, one of the things that you have to kind of think about is, do you have to put those kids in the dorm together and then quarantine them for 14 days together? No one really knows. Possibly. He was talking about football teams. Let's say you bring the Missouri football team together. Well, the first thing they all are going to have to do, apparently, is one of the reasons that the season's not going to start on time, is the first 14 days that the Missouri team is all together, they're going to have to quarantine.
Neal, why don't you want my football guys to play football?
Yeah.
Well,
why not?
hold up. So I asked him. I said, so let's say, because I do believe that they can't do no fans. I just don't think it works. And I've got a lot of people that agree with me, a lot of people that don't, and I don't know. Whatever. But I asked him. I said, let's say I'm right and that the games have fans. And they start in late September, early October, and it's fans. And I used Ole Miss as an example. What? Did I do something wrong?
No, administrative assistant just walked in. Hey.
Oh, okay. So let's say I used Ole Miss as an example. I mean, I cover Ole Miss. It makes sense. And I said if Ole Miss played that second weekend of the year at home, and in this case, it would be Ole Miss opening the season at home. If it were week 4, Ole Miss opening the season at home against Alabama. Lane Kiffin's opener against Nick Saban and Alabama, it's a sellout. Right? But the number I used was 55,000 fans. Balt Hemingway holds basically 62,000. I used 55,000 as a number. And I said, what would happen? And he said, well, you'd have an outbreak. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, 55,000, 10% of the people at that stadium would become infected. And of that 10%, 20% would require hospitalization. Now, I'm not saying he's right. I'm not saying he's wrong. He is a medical person who is advising, who is one of the people that's being called on to give advice to certain programs. And I said, so we did the math on that. That's 1,100 hospitalizations. And I said, if you extrapolate that all over the country, and you have a game in Oxford, and you have a game in Fayetteville, and you have a game in Columbia, and you have a game in Auburn, and you have a game in Iowa City, and you have a game in West Lafayette, and you have a game in South Bend, and you have a game in Champaign, and you have a game in Columbus, Ohio, blah, 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 blah. And you do that same percentage, 20% of the people, 10% of the people, 20% whatever. Well, it's all we're going to have a 1 week season. At the end of that, the whole thing's going to fall apart. And so I was like, how do you manage that? And that's where he was talking about, well, I mean, you encourage people to socially distance in the stadium, which I can't even imagine how the hell you police that.
Right.
You beg people to wear a mask to college football games, which I think a lot of people would anyway. I'm in the minority on that, but I think there would be people who would wear a mask. You beg people who don't feel good not to come. You beg people not to do things. Yeah, and it just I don't know. So when people do these definitive comments about what is or is not going to happen, I just sort of roll my eyes at them. Like, how do you know? I mean, we don't know. And so when the only thing that I found interesting last week was after the UConn president made the comment about no fall sports or whatnot, the pushback was so strong that he had to back off those comments. Yeah. And then suddenly a lot of chancellors and presidents, the interim chancellor or whatever he is at Missouri, the president at Oklahoma, the president at Purdue had some really strong statements, basically saying, "Hey, look, I don't know how we're going to do this, but we're going to do it. We're going to open these campuses in the fall, and we're going to let kids in." And if that's the case, my opinion is the two things. I think it's an all or nothing deal. I've thought that from minute one, and I've had people quietly tell me that I'm right. If the schools aren't open, there aren't going to be football. That's not going to happen.
No, there can't be.
But if the schools are open and the kids show up, they're going to figure out a way to do football. And that's where I might be wrong about no fans. They might have to. I don't know how that works, but they might. The only thing they can do, and I think Jay, you'll agree with this. I think if they were to say, "Hey, look, these first 3 weeks we're going no fans, and then we're going to bring fans in." I think if you did that, you might be able to buy yourself some time. But if you went in and said, "Hey, we're going to play college football this season, no fans all year," I just think that's such a bad look that it wouldn't work.
Yeah, and the reason you can't say that is what you're saying in that situation. You're saying it's not safe for you guys to be here, but it's safe for these 300 kids who are getting paid nothing to be here. No, you can't do that. It destroys. It's the same reason you can't have fall camp if campus is closed. It destroys any of this bullshit the NCAA wants you to believe about student athletes and the good of the kids and all that. It's all lies. They're employees if you do that.
Well, and I used this example in our group text, and Jay was like, "I don't care. It's not the SEC." But the point still, the point still held.
Jay actually responded to me on Twitter, I think, a couple days ago about all that.
So the game
he was the guy tweeting his transcript at me.
the game that I got in your Twitter feed with the transcript guy, that was funny.
Yeah.
And that guy was losing his mind. I'm like, I'm scared of him at this point. The game that I used as an example is a game that's really on the schedule. To open the season, it's San Jose State travels to Central Michigan. They don't have big TV contracts.
That's a big game. I'm fired up about that one.
Huge.
Yeah, but they don't have big TV contracts. And so if you tell them, "Hey, no fans in the stands all season," what is the motivation for either one of those programs to play? It's a waste of money.
Maybe they don't play.
And maybe they don't. And that might be where we go,
And if San Jose State and Central Michigan don't play football, the SEC starts to have a real damn hard time filling their schedule.
Well,
all those teams.
But in all seriousness,
if those programs go away, who do the big programs play?
each other. That's where the Power
I
Five
agree.
the Power Five breaks off together and forms a Super League, which I think is inevitable anyway. But it's most people think that the earliest that could happen is after the 2025 season when the grant of rights ends for a lot of these leagues. If this were to happen, let's use that game as an example. Let's say that the CDC or whatever came out and said you cannot have fans in the stands. And they figure out a way somehow at the Power 5 level to supplement kids to make it work for 1 year. But if there's no TV contract for San Jose State or Central Michigan, they're not playing. And at that point, teams like them aren't playing. South Alabama's not playing. Louisiana Tech's not playing. ULM's not playing. Arkansas State's not playing. And like you said, I mean, there's a lot of games for SEC and Big 10 and Big 12 teams. And all of a sudden, they're having to figure it out. I mean, if you're, Auburn, suddenly you're picking up the phone, you're calling Illinois and going, can we work out some sort of a home and home here? Because we got some things that fell off. We'll come to Champaign. You guys come to Auburn. Missouri's calling Purdue again and going, hey, we did this before. Our uniforms look the same. Let's do it again. I mean, I don't know the answer to it, but that's my point is when people say, oh, this thing is going to be this seamless start for all Division I teams, it's just it's BS. It's not.
Look, it's everybody speaking with their heart. And not that, which is, again, what I think got us started on this thing is why I laugh at the people that say, why don't you want football to happen? No, we all want – everybody on this podcast wants football to happen. We desperately want football to happen.
We don't even – it's not even that we want it. We need it. It's a total difference.
Right.
Desperately need it.
Yeah.
But I can live without all these other goober teams. It's all about the SEC, bro. That's where my paycheck comes from, so I don't care about anything else.
I do think, to take this full circle, I do think –
like, other power conferences need to play.
I don't care
what
about
the SEC is just going to have 14 teams and play in its own little league, and we're all going to be fine, and everybody's going to be happy with that.
Fine with me. Neal's fine with that too.
I mean, I'd be if the SEC were to do the ultimate power play and just go, hey, screw it, we're going to play a 13-game season, a round robin, we're going to figure it out. Okay, I mean, I'm good with that.
I'm good with that too.
For
one season, yeah. For
not
one season.
Permanently.
No, and I mean, look, the Big 12 teams need football too. Oklahoma, if you take football away from the University of Oklahoma, let's use them as an example. I mean, it's total catastrophe for them too.
Well,
University of Nebraska, if you take away football, their athletics budget lays in ruin.
They suck anyway. They hired Scott Frost and they're still shitty.
So much of
I hate the SEC attitude so much. I really do. That's why
Well, you don't cover an SEC team, so it's all good.
See? There you go.
That's what that dude. There was a Browns writer the other day, Gabriel, who said, in their fourth round, the Browns have finally broken from their streak of drafting kids from the SEC. They've just picked up someone from Missouri.
I actually get that though, because like if I write something, like if I'm doing something where I have to divide teams into conferences, I forget all the time that Maryland is in the Big Ten and not the ACC. Syracuse, like. I have to think about what conference Syracuse is in. It's messed up. So I get a guy from Cleveland kind of forgetting that Missouri's in the SEC.
Yeah, Missouri. I like Missouri, man. And it seems like in the West, I mean, I'm in the West, and I'm thinking West all the time. But Missouri had a run there under Pinkel where they won the East, what? Tell me, 3 or 4 times?
2 times.
It was just 2.
It was 2003, but 2 of their first 3.
2 of their first 3, they win the East. Dude, if you'd ask people in the West, they would all be like, Missouri sucks all the time, never done shit. And I'd be like, they've been pretty good in the past, man.
It's actually funny. The funniest part is that Arkansas fans say that.
Oh, good Lord.
100%.
Do they really? Do you have like a rivalry with Arkansas? Is Missouri?
No, the SEC's kind of tried to make it one. But I guess a little bit. I mean, they border. Like some people down around Springfield and stuff, there is a little bit, but it's not a huge thing.
And you live down near the border, right? I mean, Columbia's pretty much on the border, isn't it?
Yeah, I live on the Rio Grande. It's right by it separates Colombia and Mexico.
Oh my! Anyway, I thought that was a hilarious.
Hey, we're building a wall. So good, congratulations.
No politics, man.
I got to figure out which side of that I'm living on.
Yeah, no, I'm totally joking around about the whole politics thing. It's to me so much of what Travis does is just. It works. I mean, God, he's made a ton of money. But
he plays to an audience.
He just panders to an audience in much the same way that a hell of a lot of journalism does.
I wonder what my audience is. like middle-aged dudes that like to talk about girls. That's about all I got. Video games. Auburn. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, yours is
Auburn fans. Yeah.
yours is a pretty strong. I mean, Auburn it's such a different deal. I mean, it's one of the reasons. One of the reasons you're. I mean, you need it more than the two of us do, probably. I mean, we probably could survive because we're so used to talking about bullshit because sometimes the teams that we cover are bad.
Because by week 6, we're talking about softball season.
I mean, yeah, you're frequently talking about championship races and stuff. You get a little more creative on a beat where that's not in the conversation most of the time.
Auburn is such a great beat to cover.
We just went through the NFL draft where like the whole story is the SEC has half the first round and all that, and I'm waking up like, dude, I didn't even have to watch the first. Neal didn't have to watch the whole damn draft.
I watched the whole thing and Ole Miss got nobody drafted. It's like the SEC had 700 people drafted. I'm like, yeah, none of the guys that I covered.
Hey, we had a super chat come through. Kyle Wilson says, just wanted to say thank you for all that y'all do. I look forward to this podcast every week. I'm a newer listener, but since the COVID outbreak, I've had time to go back and listen to all the episodes and catch up. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
Being
That's
an ardent
very nice.
supporter.
That's a lot of episodes to listen to.
That is a lot. 96-ish, something like that.
This is 96.
How about that?
That's a lot of times of getting done and going, oh my God, I just spent an hour doing that.
Yeah, where I
but
I can actually get paid for this.
Well, I think some people enjoy our meandering, you know?
No, you know what? In all seriousness, I will say this, and Gabe pointed this out to me, and I got a couple of them too. Last week we were a couple of days late, and people were kind of frustrated. Like, hey man, I look forward to this. I need this in this weird time and stuff. And we all make jokes about this weird time that we're going through, but it is a really weird time that we're going through. I mean, I don't even, because I think we're in the middle of it, or maybe towards the end of it or whatever. I don't think we fully appreciate just how freaking weird it is. And you know what I mean? And there's a lot of people out there that their lives have been so disrupted compared to ours. I'm not talking about money. I'm just talking about time. I mean, we still write, we still do shows and stuff. My day to day hasn't changed a lot other than the content. But in terms of the timing is kind of similar. I mean, I do a mailbag on Wednesday. I do a thing on Friday. I do a thing on Sunday and stuff. And so, there are people out there that are like, hey, this is a break from reality for me. It's just kind of sobering.
It's fun to have something like it's why this Jordan thing is so big. It's why 8 million people watch the NFL draft. I listen to Wetzel and 40 and Thamel's podcast, and it's fun just to have an hour that you don't have to listen that close. It can be on in the background. It just kind of takes your mind off whatever. I mean, they're being idiots, and we're good at being. I feel like we're good at being idiots, right?
That's a real podcast. 40, Thamel, and who else?
Dan Wetzel, it's the Yahoo Sports college podcast.
Oh, I better not say anything then if it's Yahoo, because we're friends of Yahoo, right?
Yeah.
I think we're technically sort of.
At one point, they owned us. I'm not sure they still do, but yeah.
Yeah, it's weird that we don't know that, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think the people that own Yahoo own us, so we're sort of like step brothers or something.
I'll just say that I've missed that podcast. I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
And you also have a 40 working with you, so I mean, you got to.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
We got to.
Yeah.
You got to.
But that was
like
just
really
an example. Like we all have something that it's like, hey, good distraction can just kind of tune out.
I feel like
so
Pat
if we're
40
that
and
somebody, great.
Pat 40 is not real popular among anyone that pays for any of our sites. Probably. Well, I'll take that back. Probably Power Mizzou doesn't mind as much.
Pretty popular at my site. Yeah.
He's extremely unpopular at auburnsports.com.
Good bloodlines for Power Mizzou.
He'd lose an election on my site.
There's no doubt.
Yeah,
I'd like to know who he's running against, and I'd still pick him to lose.
Yeah.
And Pete Thamel, good golly, Miss Molly, man. Woo.
I think my people are pretty neutral towards him. I don't know that there's any strong opinions on
Thamel. That guy he went on a big rant about.
Anybody.
He went off on Cam Newton, and I think everybody hates him for that. He's another one of those people who said he'll never be back. I mean, like he came back and got his degree, so. That's what Auburn's saying to him right now, right there.
Has Cam landed with anybody yet? I know Jameis Winston landed with the Saints yesterday.
I don't think so.
How can you not like Cam Newton's a perfect couple-year bridge quarterback, right?
I feel like he's better than that, isn't he?
I just don't know what his health situation is.
I think he's a perfect guy to bring in and say, hey, maybe next year we draft the next guy, let him sit for a couple years. We've got Cam for 2-3 years. We get what we can out of him, whatever that is, and then he helps, and the next guy takes over.
I was thinking he'd go to the Raiders, but I don't know. That hadn't happened. So.
They're full of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They've got Carr and Mariota and.
The Carr sucks and Mariota sucks. They'd be good backups.
Carr sucks, but
I'll be honest, man. I was a little surprised the Raiders didn't do something in the draft, like package a couple of their picks, trade up, and see if they could get into the quarterback mix.
The best post draft story. I now can't wait for NFL camps to open for Aaron Rodgers to just be a complete asshole to Jordan Love for like 6 straight months. That's going to be the best thing about it.
It's going to be the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers thing, except roles reversed.
Yes.
He's going to be so awful to him.
Oh, it's going to be the worst. He's going to like give him the wrong playbook or something.
I would not want Aaron Rodgers to be my mentor. I don't.
No.
So before we get off this topic, I'm gonna share you guys an email that I got. I won't give the guy's name away because he's been really good to me. No, this is good. You'll like this.
Oh my God, it's good.
It is good. He said it's pretty good. He said I spoke to an investor close to an NBA owner. I'll just tell you this. This guy has nailed it. Everything he sent me so far has come true.
All right.
He says, I spoke to an investor close to an NBA owner. They're trying to have 8 teams take over a Vegas casino with their families and some support infrastructure and effectively have playoffs.
Playoffs?
Playoffs. The players are expected to vote for it. The concern is some superstars, and I've heard this elsewhere. The concern is some superstars may opt out. He thinks the NFL will vote to come back because the players need the money. He says, I spoke to another investor who bought a chunk of DraftKings from a sport league. He thinks all pro sports come back this year. He said some will be, quote, limited and regional, end quote. Said he mentioned the Las Vegas example, and he said exactly. Said don't have much clarity on college. Harvard is putting together a plan for a budget with no students. The chancellor at Texas A&M, he said something else, but I'll water it down. The chancellor at Texas A&M told the first investor referenced, if quote, if we can't have football, then we aren't having school.
Wow,
that's a school with a big endowment too.
But yeah, the NBA. I feel like the NBA and NHL, they're going to have playoffs. I mean, I saw where NBA's letting some teams open practice facilities where they can't. Like, they're going to find a way to have some playoffs. Baseball's the hard one because, like, at what point does baseball say this isn't even enough games to make it meaningful? Like,
they got time. They got time. They could do it. They could play to Christmas.
Play 40?
Christmas?
No, they could.
Christmas?
Yeah, they could. The players have already signed off on playing to Thanksgiving.
Christmas?
They could play to Christmas.
It's too cold. I don't want to watch baseball when it's cold.
But they
How
wouldn't
do you play in Minnesota?
Thank you, Gabriel. Yes.
They wouldn't play it. They wouldn't play in Minnesota.
Oh, they'd
all go play in they'd play on the West Coast, and they'd play at places where they have, like, Minnesota would play in Milwaukee.
So it'd be basically neutral site games.
Yeah. It just, look, it's here's the thing in pro sports, especially like maybe this doesn't apply to the NFL, but the other leagues, anything they can get in is better than nothing. Like the MLB, I've been telling my listeners this for a week now. The Korean League, the Korean Professional Baseball League, whatever it's called, they're getting ready to start up without fans. And if you're smart out there as a sports fan who wants this to all work out, you pick yourself a Korean team and, by God, cheer for them. And cheer for the whole damn league, cheer for everybody to stay healthy, because they have a thing that if anybody tests positive, they're going to shut it down for 18 days. The whole league. And so you really need the Korean Baseball League to work. NASCAR is getting ready to start back. I had Jenna Fryer on my Oxford Exxon podcast the other day.
Fryer, wow.
Jenna covers motorsports for the Associated Press, and it's very clear that NASCAR is, in her words, desperate, end quote, to get back, and they're going to try. You need NASCAR to go off without a hitch. You need the PGA Tour to go off without a hitch. You need the NBA to do something like that. Everybody, they're going to get massive numbers, and you need it to work. I mean, and then if it does, I think that starts to take some pressure off college football, where college football can go, hey, look, see, the Korean Baseball League worked, and the NBA worked, and they had that race at Darlington, and that worked, and we can do this. We got to be careful.
It's kind of like your email was saying, I'm not sure the biggest problem for college football is college football so much as it is college.
Yeah.
You know?
I think
like
But man, these colleges.
Would either of you guys have any? You both got daughters going to school technically in August. Either one of you have a problem sending them there?
No.
Living in a dorm?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
She's not, old.
Some people will. I wouldn't have a problem.
There's no question there's absolutely no doubt that some people will. It's why I've had this conversation with people when they say what happens with the college football game when you open it up, college football game, you open it up, are 50,000 people packed into the Grove on a Saturday? I don't know. I mean, how many people are scared? I don't know. How many? And I don't blame anybody if you're scared. How many people have just kind of reservations? I don't know. The thing is it's April the 26th as we tape this. And by June the 26th, which is 2 months away, we're going to have a hell of a lot more information. And then by August the 26th, which is 4 months away, we're going to have even more information. It's why the only problem I have with the people that are like, oh, no, we can't do anything. We can never reopen anything.
You don't have to decide today.
But why are you making this call today? Just chill. Wait a little bit. and I mean, if on June the 26th, 2 months from today, it's a veritable nightmare out there, well, then, okay. Makes more sense then. When you go, hey, look, we're not going to be able to start on time or we're not going to be able to do, okay, I get it. But if on June the 26th, the numbers have continued to decline in almost everywhere in the country, then at some point, I'm re-quoting Dr. Alan Jones, who was on that Mind on My Money podcast. At some point, people have to take a little bit of risk. I mean, there's risk every time you get in a car. And I'm not comparing a disease to a car accident, but I mean, you can't forever. I don't know. What am I trying to say? You can't just forever go, okay, well, if the risk percentage is above 0, I'm not going to take it. Right. That would be a hell of a boring way to live your life. I mean, you just now on the flip side, if they're right or not if they're right, but if some of the projections held where there's a second wave in the fall where what if you had to hold things up for 3 weeks? Had to hit the pause button on a football season for 3 weeks. Okay. I mean, that's what you do, I mean, it is what it is. And so I just think that anybody who comes out with this is definitively how this is going to look, like in October, which is half a year from right now, anybody who comes out and says this is what it is definitively going to look like in half a year, I just don't have a lot of I catch myself giving them no credence at all. It's in much the same way that the people who on both the right and the left who try to turn this into some political football, I just sort of ignore them. Yeah, I listen to the scientists, I listen to the medical people, and just kind of go from there.
Yeah.
Word. I'm on board with that. I had to put out a new rule. Well, I had to reinstitute a rule today on the bunker that we're not going to get into politics anymore. I gave them a little bit of leeway because.
No, I gave up on that.
So you're saying no politics on yours, Gabriel?
Oh no, I always had, and then this thing started, and now I don't even moderate threads. I'm like, whatever.
Oh, I can't do that.
The virus threads are just completely out of control, and like I've said, look, man, there's nothing you can do. Like at least they're coming to my board to talk about it.
No,
I'm the same way.
We're not doing it that way.
It's the same 12 people that just argue with each other.
Well, then I'm going to knock 12 people's ass out if that's what it takes.
So how do you do it though? I mean, what are you doing? I mean, in all seriousness, I'm not criticizing. I'm curious.
You can spend your whole day.
I know I could, and I spend too much time on the board as it is, but I'm going to keep doing it. Anytime these threads go political, I'm just going to ban the person that did it, and I'm going to, for not forever, but just for a couple of days, and move it to the politics board. And eventually it will slow down. I think a lot of people want it to slow down. They're tired of this politics BS, man. So I don't think it's going to be that hard.
Are you allowing COVID discussions?
I will, but I warned them. I said, don't make it political.
They're going political.
Well, if it turns political, then I'm going to take action. It doesn't take that many times. As soon as I knock people out of the park about 30 times, they'll stop. Yeah. And, I know. Listen, I've been over on Neal's side a bunch, more so than the Power Mizzou side, and they talk politics over there, and I don't care. I mean, that's just the way things go.
We normally don't, but during this, I let the terrorists win.
I let them win too, and it ruined it. It was ruining it, and so we're stopping.
I try to police it, but it's just nonstop. It's incessant.
Well, Then you just got to knock them out of the park like Cecil Fielder on a fatty right down the middle. You're just going to knock it out.
I'm going to be honest with you though, along the lines of if you start kicking out customers, what if I mean, let's say hypothetically, let's say
your most vocal customer.
Well, we just talked about October. So let's say that the football season doesn't begin. There are a lot of people that think this. I was asked the other day, when do you think it starts? And I said week 4. So let's say I'm off 1 week and it's week 5 when it starts. That's October, Jay.
I know.
You got to get to October before you have sports. I'm going
to lose people.
Like you've always gone to Destin for the spring meetings.
I get invited. I do get invited. Yeah. Do you?
Yeah. No, I don't. But like, I don't think SEC media days are going to go off as normal.
No.
I could be wrong, but I don't. So if that's the case, I mean, a lot of our content stuff that we kind of build around over the course of a summer disappears. And I mean, if it's,
I could see him making SEC media days a virtual thing, and maybe not just for this year,
maybe forever.
Like I could see a lot of these things starting to be like, hey, that worked pretty well. Let's just do that.
Well, like the NFL draft, I loved it this way.
This was the best NFL draft I've ever watched. Like, I'm actually the first place I'm going to go when quarantine is over. I'm going to drive to Cliff Kingsbury's house.
It looked pretty sweet.
His house is sweet. The only thing is if you're going to get drafted, you need to come up with, if you want some airtime, you need to come up with some real sadness in your life. I mean, because the first, it was
they'll just make it up. Like
somebody got drafted and it was like his grandmother died 10 years ago.
I mean, like I texted a couple of my friends. I'm like, here and there, it's okay. But when they start getting into like, he is wearing purple boxers at the draft because his parakeet's head was chopped off when he was 7 years old. Like, come on, man. What are we doing? It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like one guy on his bio, his dad passed away in 2008. Like, dude, that's 12 years ago. What are we doing?
That's sad, and I get it, but goodness.
Dude,
yeah,
it's Trey Wingo. He could not wait to tell those stories either. Trey Wingo was just salivating.
I can't remember who it was, but somebody had said like it was somebody from Clemson, the receiver. It said like his mom battled drug addiction for a long time or something. And I saw an NFL player like basically retweet it and say, "What are you guys doing here? This is not right." And then it was T. Higgins. He came back and he said, I'm really proud that was there. I'm really proud that my mom has fought and changed her life. And he handled it very well. But, like, come on, what are we doing, man? That doesn't go on the draft bio.
The one guy, when it came out and he said, my dad had an upset stomach a week ago, I thought that was it was very tragic. It really upset me. I was so glad that kid overcame that and got drafted. It was great.
It took me a couple rounds to realize. And all of a sudden, like, in the middle of the second round, I texted a couple of my friends. I'm like, why do they keep, like, are everybody's parents dead? Like at some point when a kid got drafted and everybody in his family was alive, it was like breaking news.
Yeah. When the kid from Tulsa got drafted and they said his German Shepherd died at 16, and it was devastating. We all cried. It was a lot of tears.
You guys are being sarcastic.
No, it was awful, man.
There were some interesting things to go along with the NFL draft this year. That being able to see the GM's house, being able to see the coach's house, sometimes the players' houses, some interesting stuff going on there.
The guy taking a deuce in Mike Vrabel's house.
He left the door open, dude. You shouldn't do that.
Do you think he was really going to the bathroom?
I think he was sitting there to be on TV doing that. Like, I think they fully knew what they were doing.
Yeah, it seemed a little. There was a lot going on in that shot.
I think it was set up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he was actually using the facilities at that moment.
And somebody looked like they had just finished, I don't know, getting together.
Yeah.
I think that was Jake Fromm. Was it?
Out of a room throwing a shirt on.
Was that Jake Fromm?
I'm not sure who it was.
Yeah.
Oh, you think they just finished being intimate?
Or they were setting it up to look that way? Yeah.
They made it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree. It was fun. I don't like the draft very much in general, but I thought this one was a little more relaxed. I particularly like seeing Goodell like staring at his TV, thinking that TVs were two-way monitors or whatever. It just seemed really weird that he was like, "Come on, guys, get up, let's get loud." Like,
Goodell.
I didn't like that.
Goodell over the course of the draft.
He just sat down.
By the end, he was the drunk uncle in the chair. It was so great. And that thing of M&Ms, he did a couple of things that were really great. He kept moving the Mike Ditka bobblehead around, and I caught myself watching that, like really amused. And then the M&Ms, the M&M jar that started completely full, and by the end there was no M&Ms left in it. He's like,
it was kind of like Michael Jordan's whiskey during that documentary would be at varying levels of full.
yeah. It did make me like Roger Goodell a lot more than I'd ever liked him before. It made him very likable. And you're right. I think it was you that said this, Jay. Seeing the GMs in their home and stuff, it was cool. And like Belichick with the dog was hilarious. Like there was just some of the things that got done that just made you laugh. It was
I liked Bruce Arians just kicking it out on his porch. You know?
Yeah.
It's cool.
And Andy
Reid, yeah,
sitting in front of some kind of a
elliptical machine.
Yeah, like he uses that or something. Like what?
I think it's more decoration.
By the way, Clyde Edwards-Helaire fits that offense so well. You talk about a perfect fit for the Chiefs.
You know, the interesting thing is I had a bunch of people ask me like what I thought about it, and I said, well, I mean, when you're picking 32nd, you just won the Super Bowl. Like literally, as long as they didn't draft a kicker, I was going to be fine with whatever they did. You know, like I'm not going to be unhappy.
Why would you?
Getting a running back who catches the football out of the backfield as well as he does, who does the little things as well as he does. I mean, who's so already used to not being the star to kind of being a role player. Right. You know, I mean, he makes a lot of sense for them.
The fascinating part to me, and I know most people who listen don't care, so we won't spend a lot of time on it, but the rest of the AFC West, I think they drafted nothing but receivers for like the first 6.5 rounds of they've all just given up on stopping the Chiefs. They're just like, we got to go score 50 every week.
Well, It's such a copycat league. It always has been. And so the Chiefs just won the league with this high octane offense. Everybody's going, okay, that's what we have to do. We've got to match that. And so everybody's taking wide receivers and speed and stuff like that. And reaching a little bit at times. Like I thought the Raiders, for example, reached a little bit. Yeah, I thought that was a reach.
Jerry Jeudy, dude, Drew Lock just got maybe a Hall of Fame. Like Jerry Judy's going to be a superstar. You know?
Drew Lock
going to be real.
Drew Lock had to go to bed the other night going, oh man, my life just got so much better. I mean, Judy can fly.
Put him opposite
he can
Cortland
fly.
Sutton.
Yeah, Drew Lock's a happy dude right now.
Can't believe you guys are hating on Henry Ruggs, man. He's from my town, from my village.
No, he's good. I just thought he was a reach at 12.
Well, I wouldn't take him before Judy or Lamb. He's a good player. But I wouldn't
CeeDee Lamb with the cell phone.
Yeah, just grabbed his girl's phone. Was like, nah, you're good.
He was like, the girl was like grabbing one of his phones, and he was like, no, that's that. You're not doing that.
And that's my phone. I liked how he ordered Pizza Hut for draft night.
Yeah, you don't think that was
biggest night of his life? He just gets a couple pizzas for 100% marketing. Yeah,
that's why Henry Ruggs is wearing the robe.
The robe.
It was for Old Spice. It's a true story.
That's great.
Is that right?
I loved it when it said live Montgomery, Alabama. I was like, yes, sir. And we had another kid from Lee High School, Daniel Thomas, who played safety at Auburn. He got drafted in the 5th round. So I mean, big day for Montgomery.
How about that? Yeah, it's a big day.
It's a big day. Big day. JJ Pegues is going to get drafted one of these days, and that'll be another big day for Oxford.
Yeah, if you do, I could see that. He'll be interesting. It was his decision not to go to Ole Miss was a nail in Matt Luke's coffin.
Well, sucks to be them. I guess he wanted to go to Auburn. Hey, another thing I wanted to ask Gabriel about. I think Gabriel was telling us a story that he got a wrong number the other day, or actually you dialed a wrong number and got hooked in with somebody that you didn't really want to talk to, and they really wanted to talk to you. Is that about how it went?
Yeah, well, I was trying to set up a Zoom call that we're doing for our site. And so I texted I texted what I thought was the right number and said, hey, David, this is Gabe DeArmond, blah, blah, just setting this up. And I got a response said, this is not David. No idea who Gabe is, but good luck. Keep safe and be well. And I thought, well, that's nice. So I just texted back, okay, sorry about that. And then I got a response, not a problem at all. Just wanted you to be able to get a hold of the right person. Home now on medical leave, serving only as a napping station for cats and dogs. A couple minutes later, on a news diet, as I cannot stomach the daily blathering, bullying, belittling, and blustering of our liar-in-chief with his asinine nitwit lemmings following him straight into a hell of ignorance, intolerance, hatred, and fear-mongering. Oops, apologies for the rant. Have only been out for weekly labs and oncology appointments. Take care. I have no idea who this was.
You should get him on your podcast.
No idea. That's a her.
Oh no, I am scared to death to reply to that. There is no chance I'm replying to that message.
Why not?
Oh no, zero.
Is that a male or female?
That's female. For sure.
I don't know.
What is
It's clearly someone in Columbia, Missouri, because I had the area code right. So like this could be my neighbor for all I know. I don't want them to know who it
is. Your neighbor hot?
No, not particular.
You don't have any hot neighbors?
No.
I do.
Do you, Jay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, good.
There's some pretty decent women, pretty hot women that live in my neighborhood, but particularly this chick that lives over here. She's cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd like her.
I would.
I think probably Gabe more than you, but yeah, I think Gabe would.
Gabe would like her more than me. Why is that?
I don't want to get into it on the
Based
show.
on.
She has shorter hair. I don't know. Seems like Gabe's kind of girl. Hey, that's a funny story there, though, Gabriel. I think the person that you texted, they needed to hear from you. They need to hear from somebody.
Like that person clearly had no human contact for like a month, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
They were just like, next person that texts me, I'm unloading, man. This is going to be, and it just happened to be me and a wrong number.
I probably would have kept on with it, though, just knowing me. I mean, a few texts here and
I would have for sure.
You never know.
I would have absolutely responded to it.
You would have responded? What would you, like kind of egging them on? Or?
No, I would have just kind of kept going a little. I would have said, tell me more about, I would have picked one thing out and asked for them to elaborate.
Now that I think about it, I could have responded with the Trump GIF that just said wrong. That would have got him going.
Wrong.
That would have got him going for sure.
It's a girl.
But then what if there was a knock on my door like 10 minutes later? I'd have been a little scared.
I would have probably just kept it going to feel it out a little bit and just kind of see, first of all, if it's a girl or a guy. And then once you figure that out, if it's a guy, you ditch it. If it's a girl, maybe you just keep it going a little bit longer just to see. Now, in my case, I would let Courtney be in on it just to avoid any possible conflicts. But you never know, man. You never know what you might end up running into,
Jay, you're going to be on Catfish one of these days, man. I don't know if you're going to be the catfisher or the catfishee, but you're going to be
on the show.
I think we got catfished on our brain drain last night because there was this girl that was on there. Her name was Amanda, and she was talking big smack, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're fake." So she actually called in and had some very hot takes that I thought were difficult to defend, but it became quite a topic, and I think it might have been an inside job, but I don't know. Anyway, Amanda's been a big source of conversation on the bunker today.
Inside job, like someone you knew?
No, not somebody that I set up, but somebody that was set up by people who watch the show. They're like, "Hey, we'll get my wife to call in and say she's this, fake Auburn fan or whatever." I didn't know if it was legit or not, but anyway, they were talking about they were in the chat. They were talking about if she sounded hot. I don't know if a girl can sound hot. I don't know.
Of course.
Well, then what sounds hot? I don't know. Like a girl
sultry.
that's like, "Hey guys, how you doing?" I mean, I don't know. That doesn't sound hot to me.
That did not sound hot at all.
Well, I'm a guy.
That was a perfect example. Yeah.
I'm a guy.
That was a perfect. Had I heard that voice, I would have immediately known she was not hot.
But there's like, I don't know. If you like girls who are a little more burly, I mean, maybe if she's like, "Hey, what's going on?" Like that.
Yeah, no, that does not do it.
It's not a big deal for me. It's more, there's more to it than the voice, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I tended to. I dated girls. I dated girls that are a little more portly when I was younger. So they generally had lower voices, maybe.
Personally, I like burly better, but
burly. I didn't want
burly better than portly.
You don't.
Here's the deal, Gabe.
Sturdy.
You can
sturdy.
Pick your girl. You can have one that's sturdy, one that is portly, or one that is. What was the other word? Burly.
Look like
Which do you want?
Look like a catcher.
All with deep voices and very hairy arms.
Yeah.
No.
Would it be okay if I just passed this particular round?
Oh my goodness.
It made me want to go on a vacation. And if I did, I would want to call John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. And I would say, "John, here's some parameters. Here's a budget. Here's all I'm asking. Please get me away from all these portly, burly women. Let me go someplace and get away." And he would say, "All right, all you got to do is you just got to give him some parameters. You give him a budget. You don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. He's been a part of Virtuoso for a long time. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows him to supply his clients with added value such as non-portly women and unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. We're also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust based in Madison, Mississippi, but they've got clients in more than 20 states. They've got advisors in multiple states as well. Founded in 1997, Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity, and decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. Cookie cutter financial planners put you in a box. Pinnacle Trust builds a box just for you. To learn more, go to pintrust.com. That's PINN trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You get 10% off your first year's fee.
How about that?
How about that? It's good stuff.
Good stuff there. Absolutely. This is GPITS episode number 96, which means we are going to quickly review some stuff that was going on in 1996 in films and in music. I was just going through the top films of the year in 1996, and not necessarily a great year for film. Yeah, not so much. The top grossing films, Independence Day, which is it's fun. It's a fun little movie. Made almost $1 billion, dude.
I saw Independence Day in the theater actually, and one of the guys I saw it with was upset when we left because he said it was too unrealistic.
Yo, really?
which I feel like kind of you probably should have known going in.
Should have known that going in.
Yeah.
Also, the one that I like the best of the blockbusters, the summer blockbusters that year, Twister, with Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton. Made almost $500 million, which is a crazy amount of money. Mission Impossible, the first one with Sir Tom Cruise, was big that year. Also, The Rock, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, 101 Dalmatians, Ransom, The Nutty Professor, Elsa with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Jerry Maguire. Jerry Maguire is pretty good.
The dinner table scene in Nutty Professor is very rewatchable.
Yeah, I missed that one, bro.
That's a good movie. Really? You never seen that?
No, I've not seen it. I mean, I'm somewhat familiar with it. The best film at the Academy Awards was The English Patient, which I have no interest in ever watching. And I think the best screenplay that year was Fargo, which is a tremendous film for me. I love it. Also,
I like Fargo too.
Yeah, it's good. Happy Gilmore was also released that year. That Thing You Do, and Swingers, one of my all-time favorites.
I bet you like that one.
Those are all
It has
good
nothing
movies.
to do with swinging. Have you seen the movie Swingers, Neal?
No, I haven't.
Are you like really? You've never seen? You're not even familiar with it?
I just assumed it was a movie about swinging.
No, it's not at all. It's about guys in Los Angeles in their 20s.
It's a good movie.
Oh my gosh! It's got Vince Vaughn when he was young, Jon Favreau when he was young, Ron Livingston, Heather Graham is in it. Oh my God, it's so good. Oh my God,
it's a good movie.
Good.
I've never seen it.
You should watch it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's seriously.
Hey, I watched Goodfellas when Jay assigned it to me. Did you ever do that?
It's on the list. I've got it queued up.
So no.
We should have seriously.
Not yet.
Each one of us should come up with 3 films the other guy should have to have seen, because they're that important to me or to you or whoever. I mean, like there's 3 you've got to see.
All right.
And Swingers would be on that for me.
Do you have 3 films, Gabe, that are important to you?
No, I would have to think about it.
Okay, well, we got plenty of time for that in quarantine, brother, so maybe we'll pick it up with that.
Yeah, I'll come up with it by the next time we do a show.
But Swingers is going to be on that list, so if you want to go ahead and knock one out, that might be the one to do, Neal McCready.
All right, Swingers is it. Swingers it is.
It's a good movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Big stuff.
But like you can't bring any really shitty movies. Like I don't go find something that sucks and it's 4.5 hours long and make me watch it.
I wouldn't do you that way, bro. I wouldn't do you that way.
Like Dances with Wolves or something.
Yeah, I don't want to be watching Ishtar because Jay said it was important to him.
Okay, you know me, right? Do you think I'm going to sit in a movie theater for 3 hours and watch some shit like that? Come on, man.
But I think there's a chance that you would come on and say that we had to.
Oh, just to troll you? Yeah.
I actually thought Dances with Wolves the first time was fine. Ishtar was awful.
Fine.
Waterworld.
No,
That was
I'm good
terrible.
on
That was terrible. How does that happen? How does that get screened and the people that did it go, oh yeah, this is good?
Disaster. The summer, let's see, 1986 in general, not a great year for music either. What particularly popular music? The big hit was Macarena, which was a disaster on all fronts. And also Spice Girls were at their peak, and their big song, "Wanna Be," "If You Want to Be My Lover, You Got to Get With My Friends," was the big song. Wonderwall by Oasis also was peaking in around 96 or so. So that's some decent stuff. You also had the Smashing Pumpkins, Melancholy and Infinite Sadness was released in January of 96, which McCready says he has no idea what that was. He had no idea.
Great album. Great album. I love
Name
that.
one song, Neal. What's your favorite song off Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness?
The Infinite Sadness. Would be
I was going to say, you just say either Melancholy or the Infinite Sadness.
Melancholic Sadness was a great song. I loved it. It was sad and it hit me, but I loved it.
How do you not know that?
And then Infinite was a great song too because it was deep. It's like, hey, this thing could go on forever. Just like life, it can be infinite.
Anyway,
that was good.
That's the
Meaningful
Smashing Pumpkins magnum opus, a tremendous record, a double record, I should recall.
Oh, so good.
Also, the Fugees were hitting big with Lauryn Hill at the helm.
Yeah.
Good stuff there.
Yeah.
No Woman, No Cry.
Who could forget that?
Goo Goo Dolls were getting into their, you had the song Name and whatnot. Sure, Soundgarden was hitting big with Pretty News and Jesus Christ Posed. Yeah, good stuff.
Kind of grungy, 96.
Yeah, it was. We were definitely in the throes of grunge. But Bone Thugs, which was Eazy-E's big, he was producing Bone Thugs and Harmony. The Crossroads was a great song too. That was coming out in 96 as well. So, yeah, I think Spice Girls is really where it was at 96, unfortunately. Yeah. And Foo Fighters released their first album in 96 too.
Oasis was pretty, I remember hearing that 27 times a day in college.
Like Wonderwall? Yeah.
Hey,
And,
Jay.
Champagne Supernova.
Yeah.
Jay, I've been listening to a lot of Puff Daddy lately with No Way Out. The song Victory featuring the Notorious B.
Just the Notorious B?
Yep.
Are you sure it wasn't B.I.G.?
Not IG.
Yeah, B.I.G. He's good. I like that song. I listen to it all the time when I run. Good stuff.
Notorious
I like
B.
Notorious.
Due to the coronavirus cutbacks.
On my thing, it says the Notorious B ... And so I'm like, I don't know what the hell it is. I just like the song.
Friends call him just Notorious B.
They just call him B. What's up, B?
Do you know anything about Notorious B.I.G.? Like, why is he recording? Like, what's your favorite of his new recordings?
He's just big. That's all I know.
He was
even I actually know this.
He's dead, Neal. He's long ago dead.
Been dead for quite
some time. He was gunned down.
Oh,
yeah.
He was gunned down.
Know that.
It was the whole East Coast, West Coast thing. Tupac called that.
My condolences.
He was a great rapper. I mean, he really was.
His friends and family.
There's some good documentaries on that out there.
Now that you mention that, there was a guy that was drafted in the 5th round, and that was brought up. So I apologize.
What?
That he knew Biggie and
he was a fan of Notorious B.I.G.
or just B.
Just B.
There's other things we have not discussed.
I never thought I would. I honestly never thought I would be on a podcast where I wasn't the person who knew the least about music and pop culture, but I'm clearly not.
I feel like I know more than you do about it, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying I don't know the least.
You're not in last place. You're right.
I would be in last place on almost every podcast I could be on, but fortunately not this one.
These people in the chat are having a day with Neal here. I mean, Georgia Rebel says, "Oh man, Neal, come on, bro."
Notorious B.
Corny says, "So Neal and Gabe are virgins." I don't know how you guys. I mean, come on, man. We're already in an hour and a minute. We got to wrap it up, and I still got like 6 things we got to discuss.
I know, it's your fault.
We haven't gotten to our all-time starting 5 for the NBA. We haven't gotten to your beef with Ole Miss, which you've gotten into on the Twitter again.
I don't have a beef with Ole Miss.
Yes, you do.
I don't have a beef. I don't. I just don't have. I don't have anything.
I got to mention this because it's going to be old next week. But Maddie had her 18th birthday. My daughter did on Friday, and her friends organized.
Friends all drove by.
Yeah, my friends organized a parade for her. It was really nice. It's really, really nice.
I said happy birthday to Maddie on Facebook. Happy birthday, Maddie. Campbell, my daughter turns 19 on Friday. This coming Friday.
Coming up, man.
Yeah. Yep.
What are y'all gonna do?
I don't know what we're gonna do.
Hey, we got a question.
You kind of limited on what you can do.
Yeah, there is. A question coming in from Hall of Fame listener Leif, who's from the Rebel Grove site. He says, "There's no way Neal knows if Biggie or Tupac were East Coast or West Coast. Can you kind of put those two?"
Tupac would have been East Coast.
Mm-hmm. So what does that mean for Christopher?
So Notorious B would have been West Coast.
Okay, interesting. Leif, there you have it, buddy.
They met in Colombia and had a fight.
Colombia, South America.
That's where it went down. Notorious
Columbia,
B.I.G.
Missouri. They met in the middle.
In Columbia.
It happened right down there by Mizzou Arena. Everybody knows that.
Okay, so
Club
Tupac.
Athena was where B.I.G. got taken down.
Tupac is West Coast, and
his Oakland area.
Notorious B.I.G.
was
is the center. He's the epicenter of East Coast rap.
Oh, that would have been my next
Seriously.
guess.
Neal, you have done so much. Well, that was the only other guess.
You were close.
And that's why I said it would have been my
neither
next
one of them are like the fucking northern plains.
That North Dakota rap scene is incredible, man.
Neal, you've made me feel so much better about myself
gosh.
in the last 15 minutes or so.
I mean, have you heard Methy Meth from North Dakota? That dude is fantastic.
He'd be from Ohio if he was from anywhere.
Deep stuff, man.
All right, I guess we'll wrap it up there, guys. We covered a lot there.
There's
Yeah.
where else to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like my performance can't do anything but improve going into episode 97. So there you go.
You were doing okay at 96, right, Neal?
Yeah. 96 was maybe
He
my
was.
first. It was
After
kind of
this,
my,
he hates 96.
Yeah, I will now look back on 1996 with great derision.
Let's wrap this thing up before you do any more damage to your.
All right. Now that I've lost all
Persona.
street cred, that does it for this edition of Greatest Pod in the South, and also Gabe's new backdrop, which I missed the Cardamom, honestly, but I'm glad you have it. And again, our thanks to the people at Automation and Control Systems LLC for their sponsorship of this particular show. For Gabe DeArmond, for JG Tate, I'm Neal McCready. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and take care. Talk to you soon.
All right, guys, good stuff. An hour and 5 minutes, and Neal
Good deal.
further besmirching his already lame
Everybody hates
understanding.
me anyway. It doesn't
I-
matter.
I'm amazed. You got to go listen to some
No
Biggie.
one likes me anyway. It doesn't matter.
All right, guys.
All right.
Have a good
one,
week.
guys.
Y'all
Yep,
be good.
We'll see.
For y'all. And there they go. Neal and Gabe are off on their way. Aldred 35 says Neal learning about Biggie 25 years later. LOL. I knew for sure he was going to be like, yeah, I think B.I.G.'s West Coast. It's just like, what? He just said, no, it's all right. Leif says, Hairless Whisperer ain't no coast. I know. Neal's pretty open about not knowing any of that stuff, so it was just kind of funny how it wound into there. Ay. Let's see. Notorious B. I'm going to think about that for the rest of my life anytime he comes on. We hear Hypnotize or whatever, Big Papa. That is funny. All right, guys. That was a pretty good show. Our pre-show was like 15 minutes. Hell, Gabe was upset. He was hoping we were going to get the show going. He said, let's stop talking about the show. Let's do the show. That was funny. Pocket Watch says, so sad to see them go, but love to watch the still pic of them leaving. Let's see. Neal was on his phone, wasn't he? Yeah, he's checking his phone. Gabriel is wearing his Alex Gordon shirt on the way out. I think we're going to get Gabriel some light so we can see his face a little bit better. But, yeah. All right, guys, we'll probably wrap it up there. I felt good today. For those of you who are on the brain drain, I was having some breathing issues last night. I don't really know what's going on. Administrative assistant thought it would be allergies, so I took an Allegra, and I definitely felt better. And then just chilling out. I think yesterday I just got too coronavirused. I looked at too much data, too many stories about the coronavirus. And man, when I get immersed in that stuff, I get really down. And so maybe it was some of that was just like have a panic attack about it or something. I don't know. I don't know what was going on, but I woke up this morning feeling good. And then my friend Jeff, the first thing he did is text me this story about how we're not going to have sports this fall. Just like, man, fuck off. But I don't know. He didn't really mean for it to be that way, but I guess I got to be careful about what I'm paying attention to these days. I need to get off the virus and start thinking about other stuff and doing other stuff. But anyway, hope you guys are doing great out there. And we enjoyed putting this show together for you guys. We really appreciate you guys listening to the GPITS podcast and for being part of our show when we do it. And we actually broadcast it on YouTube on Sundays usually when there's not terrible weather around. It's beautiful here today. And, of course, subscribers to auburnsports.com. You guys kick ass. I know we have some subscribers to rebelgrove.com. You guys kick ass. I know Leif, Avery, Webb M, if he's here today. I bet you I'm missing a few. Oh, Georgia Rebel, of course. Appreciate you guys being here. And I don't know as though we have any Power Mizzou folks who chat. At least I haven't seen them. But if you guys are here, we love you guys too. I don't go over there as much. Just because Missouri's not in the SEC, but I'm just kidding. I don't know. I just haven't been over there. I do hang out at Rebel Grove some and love you guys over there too. So I appreciate y'all being part of the show, and we'll be back with this show next Sunday. Of course, you can check out Oxford Exxon podcast on Rebel Grove, I think pretty much every morning. Sometimes they do it at night, but I don't think Chance likes it at night. And at auburnsports.com, we do the Brain Drain on Saturday nights, Friday or Saturday nights. And then, of course, GPITS. We haven't been doing as many podcasts lately, but we probably need to pick that up. And, of course, we're going full scale speed on the bunker like all the time. I've got a post up right now about how we're backing away from politics, and I think I had 150 notifications. I took a very short lunch. Courtney and I ate lunch together, and I was probably eating for 15 minutes, and I came back and I had 150 notifications. So, yeah, there's a lot going on there. Anyway, appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next time. Yeah, peace.